Welcome back. I'm having another look at some Mechwarrior online stuff. Here's a match in the... Let's get going anyway. Go. This is a match in Mining Collective. Now, mech I'm using here is a Marauder 3R. It's not actually a Marauder 3R. It is a, essentially, if you play the board game, it's kind of a Marauder 5S, which is an upgrade to the 3R. Throws in some ERPPC, medium pulse, and a Gauss rifle. Although unlike the board game, you'll see that my Gauss rifle has 22 shots, not 8. That said, you do get extra ammo in this game because the armor value's been bumped up and the damage hasn't really been, so you get extra what am I? I'm saying something here? More of a monologue. Okay. So, just making jokes there. This is an old game, season 24 again. Yeah, and one thing I like to do in this game, sometimes I have like, you know, I make something a bit, you know, I play around with the rifleman. I just put in some AC-20s, which isn't in the game. Other times I like to recreate a variant that is in the board game that I like, but isn't available as like one of the stock mechs. So the Marauder, I know they have a few designs, and I think the upgrade one they have is like the Davion variant. It's kind of French. So, but I like the Steiner variant with the big Gauss rifle, even though it's not so great. And in the tabletop, the Marauder is like the coolest design, one of the coolest designs. I mean, it's from Macross or Robotech. You know, way back, FASA licensed some artwork from, you know, an existing company. Macross, for those you don't know, it's a Japanese animated series. It's called, I think the full name is like Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. So, in that series, the Marauder is basically the officer mecha for the main antagonist, the Centrati. So, and FASA, when they made the game, I mean, I think maybe they didn't have artists, or they wanted to like get the game out quick. They were more Jordan Wiseman, and I think there's another guy, and more designers. So they, instead of making art, they just licensed some art. The problem came back later. It came to bite them in the butt later, because at one point, I'm kind of blocking my dude here. Is this another Marauder here? I think I'm blocking this Marauder guy. He's getting hammered. I'm gonna go up. Boom. The Marauder in the game is pretty cool because the cannon. Oh, this guy went down. The cannon is has a pretty high mount, so you can kind of peek over hills and shoot pretty good, which is always nice. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, the board game, originally I think they didn't have, to get the game out quick and to get some good art, they licensed this art from like a few different Japanese animated series. One of them being Macross, the other two being Son of the Fang Dogrum, I think it's called. And also Crusher Joe, there's a little bit from there. And some of them kind of got modified, but others are pretty bang on to what they were. Boom! Hitting this. But a lot of people driving Novas, seems. So, but as I was saying, later on, when BattleTech became kind of big, I think and thanks in large parts to the Mechwarrior game series, specifically Mechwarrior 2. I don't think the first one had that big of impact, but missiles. You can kind of duck behind some stuff. Look at my great driving here. I'm getting hammered. Like, uh-oh, better pull back a little bit. There's Novas peeking out again. Right. So anyway, BattleTech got popular, and then another series. Another toy manufacturer basically made a toy that was very similar to one of the original designs that Battletech actually introduced. I think the Timberwolf. And so Fast was like, "Hey, buddy, you can't do that." So they kind of, I think they started some legal action, and then Harmony Gold, everyone's favorite company, they said, "Oh, wait a second, you're complaining about this. What about all these designs you have?" So, Harmony Gold. I mean, I don't Harmony Gold. I don't care about them. They're fine. A lot of Battletech think they're, Satan. Battletech players think they're Satan incarnate or something, but because the thing with Harmony Gold had the rights to the animation basically, and I think those rights came from one Japanese company, and then another company kind of had the other design rights or something, and that's the company that I'm still after this guy I've been fighting a while, this Atlas dude. Boom! I'm just trying to take out his side torso. So there's another guy here. I'm taking a lot of fire, but I'm surprisingly. I think that. Oh, boom! Double PPC took him down. No, another guy down. Yeah, I think these 3 games we're looking at, they're pretty successful games. Just, I'm not like. Not every game is like this. I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm the best, or I was the best, or whatever. Certainly not. So anyway, yeah, there's a big problem, legal problems, and then Battletech could no longer use the original designs, and as it happens, well, the artwork for the original designs, and as it happens, those original art were, those designs were like the iconic mechs. They were the ones that everybody, but they were core mechs, not only in the, worse than just the art was well loved, but it was also, like, the kind of designs themselves were sort of core to the gameplay, and a lot of other designs were designed around those, so they weren't as good. So we'll look at that. I only got 2 kills, but I did a fair amount of damage, I think. Stats will come up there, and look at all my front armor is gone. 500 damage, pretty good, I think. Kill most damage dealt. I got 2 of those. Solo kill 1 of those. So yeah, I like this. Is a fun design. In the it's better than the tabletop. I mean, it's better than the tabletop version because let's start up another one here. Because in this game, the inner sphere. So I started up the escort one now. In my in the drop ship, you're gonna drop out, and there we go. The 3 boom on the ground. Okay, so yeah, the Marauder, the inner sphere mechs, like on the tabletop, the clan mechs are like superior, just flat out. They're better in pretty much every way. The guns are just superior. But in this game, they've kind of tried to like balance things out. So the inner sphere get a lot of buffs, like you get extra structure for like no reason, and that's one of the big things with the Marauder. I actually have bonus structure on the torsos, I know. So it's pretty fun mech to drive. In tabletop, it's not as good, I think, because it has the original armor. It didn't get up armor like the Davion version. But here's another escort mission, and I think this time I'm the attacker. We're just going out to kill the dude, and this I don't think this is a stock mech. Like, this is the Black Knight. It's the 6, but I've upgraded it to be another mech, I believe. So I got the ERPPC, I got the double large pulse. I like to do stock mechs. I mean, a lot of people just do laser. I think they call it laser vomit, laser spam, whatever. I know that's not really for me. Boom. What's my range? So it's a bit out of range, so do a decreased damage again. But this is some original design I'm looking at here. Roughneck. Rotary AC2, double AC2s, a couple other dim weapons. So now we're just kind of skirmishing at the start. And this here is the Highlander. Oh, he's gonna be a donut. Boom. Donut. And what I mean by donut is that center. What is this guy doing? Oh, he's got legs, so he's. If a light gets legs, he's as good as dead, pretty much. I don't know why that guy ran through there. He took a wrong turn. So he got a Warhammer Black Widow, I believe. That's supposed to be Nasha Kerensky's ride or some such. They have like hero versions of each mech that have some kind of bonus. You get extra resources for driving it. I think they maybe have some. They got like different mounts and stuff. Like in the tabletop, you can make when you make a mech, you can do anything you darn well please. But here they kind of have some restrictions, mainly in terms of weaponry. So it'd be like energy mounts or ballistic mounts or missile mounts. So you can't swap out a laser for an autocannon. You have to swap out like an autocannon for a Gauss, or like a machine gun for like a LPX autocannon, that kind of thing. So got a Nova over there. I'm peeking around. I like to be on the flank all the time. I've damaged my engine with a bit of overheating, but it's okay. Well, not damage the engine, you damage the structure. The thing gets too hot. Looking at a what is this? Mad Cat Mark II. People love the Mad Cat, so the one advantage of BattleTech is that when they lost those core designs, they had the core clan designs, which are super popular too. They still had those, but I mean, one of the problems is that the tabletop game is built upon
target acquired.
Like this kind of a basic game with basic technology, let's say, basic stuff, and then everything is built upon that in successive groups of technology. So you can't really have the clan stuff without having the basic stuff. That's kind of the problem, you know, because you can't just drop a guy right into the clans, or at least, you know, the people who designed the game have chosen not to do it that way. So this crab man's down. I've taken very little damage, maybe because I'm kind of over. This isn't escort. What am I thinking? No, it is. Yeah, it is escort. I'm looking at the map there. I thought it was maybe conquest, but it's not. Those P's on the map, those are waypoints, I believe, or they're kind of ECM. No, the ECM bubbles or some such that you can go out and capture. I like the escort mission. I find often when I play them, you do have rolling battles. I mean, this is old, so I don't know if this is still in the game or if it's been changed. I might boot up the game again and just, you know, show some other mechs that I got. Oh, there's the VIP. Boom, boom. And there's another Atlas right behind him. So lay some fire on this guy. The Locust is not. It's only these two guys left. I mean, we got 7 guys still. Backing up a bit here. I'm getting some fire, like the LBX cannon maybe. And that guy. We're just kind of. These guys are kind of in the back, so we're kind of concentrating on the VIP now. You gotta get out front, buddy. I know they're doing their best, so. Too much. I'm overheating massively. Oh yeah, I'm a laser boat here, so trying to ride the heat. I think my group's maybe not like the medium laser group. This guy's almost toast there. Down he goes. So we won the day. Just the Alice is left alive there. His buddy in the back. I mean, we always just sliding around, 100 tons sliding around, 500 damage, pretty good. Team damage, I don't know, whatever. Dead. So, yeah, I did about medium damage, which is pretty common for me. And there's a third one that'll line up here. let's get it going. This is HPG. It's started a little bit. Go, here we go. My Marauder 2. Look at this little guy here. Right. I must have started this recording bit into the mission. So this is a Marauder 2. It says Marauder 2.8. It's not a Marauder 2.8. This is I want to say it's a 5 or something, or a 4. It's the ATM version. This is another stock mech that I've recreated because it's what I like to do sometimes. There's another Marauder 2 by the look of it. Marauder 2C. So this one, I think this is basically as it is in the game. The one difference is that the ER smalls are in the wrong location. I think they should be in the arms. But I think now I got them in the torsos. So the clan weapons tend to have longer range. Lasers do more damage often, but they also do that damage for a longer period of time. So same with the autocannons will fire multiple shots, which means it's harder to concentrate your damage or get all the damage to hit, you know. So I'm launching out some ATM 12 missiles there.
New target acquired.
I'm just kind of we're kind of hanging back. There's a lot of guys there. We're hanging back. Use my range. The ATMs will do more damage closer up and do less. They got amazing range, but they do a lot. They do progressively more damage the closer you are because they're supposed to use different missile types. I think now you just need one. There's no ammo switching in this game. You just have one type, and it just does more the closer you are, basically, which is fine. Some purists will disagree, but personally, I kind of like, you know, making some, you know, usability choices, right? Now, I mean, if you look at the board game, I mean, there's no such usability choices involved at all.
New target acquired.
The board game is kind of symptomatic of another problem
Target destroyed.
I feel with I find one thing I've kind of noticed is that for some of these longer lived franchises, if a franchise is, you know, successful, at least in terms of longevity, and particularly if the franchise is then inherited not by, you know, by its fans, then often those fans will not innovate. Basically, they kind of keep things the same, and that's big. That's a big thing that's happening with BattleTech, I feel. Yeah. Look at this guy, always got tons of close weapons. I don't want to get too close to him, he might actually cut me apart here. Boom. But my ATM is pretty good. So fans know what they like, and if they like a game, they're going to keep the game much the same as it is. And by comparison, you look at, say, Jordan Wiseman. He's the original creator, and FASA, he kind of left FASA and he started doing like some video game stuff. He went to Microsoft, you know, and then he went, I think he made WizKids, or was one of the founders, and they came out with like Mechwarrior Clicks, like the Hero Clicks type game, which was like way simpler. It's like collectible, and all your stats were kind of on a dial at the base of the guy, and he took damage, you kind of dialed it back, and he kind of rebooted the setting. So
new target acquired.
And he also sort of made the setting is this that Nova guy again? Get the ATMs in there, boom 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 boom. He also, oh, look at him, my torso is pretty beaten up. He when the Mechwarrior game came out, he made it such that oh, my torso is down. Torso is down. Front armor is down. This stalker is doing a bit of a number on me. I think I'm in the wrong range here. He's got LRM 15s. I should be. I mean, stalker's got weapons at all ranges, but taking a fair amount of damage. Where's my kill counter? I don't know. Oh, I only got one there. So, yeah, right. So Jordan, like the Mechwarrior game is totally different, and they kind of reduced the scope at the beginning to help people get into the setting, right? It was just in the sphere, and they had these new factions which didn't have all this backstory, and people. It was popular for a while. It kind of died out after a while. I don't know why. I know my friends and I never played. We played HeroClix, and that was kind of the same thing. We played the heck out of that game. Or to quote Sam Healy, played the mess out of that game. And then we just kind of stopped playing it, like, flat out. So, like the other team, this is the capture the flag conquest type thing. So we're recapturing these, because even if you you can lose all your mechs and still win if you get enough tickets, basically. Those little counters we're going up at the top there. So, you need the blue. I mean, they're behind us anyway, but they still have the majority right now. I think there's one dude left, so. But what I was saying, Jordan has kind of gone, like his game design philosophy has changed,
Left arm critical damage. Heatsink destroyed.
He kind of realized, oh, this is old, so I'm gonna make something that my kids can play. But the classic Battletech, it's not changed. They actually kind of they came out with one big edition where they made vehicles more complicated than they were. Made them like way more complicated, and I don't know if it actually plays any better. Maybe the hover tanks are a little bit. Well, I don't know. It's questionable changes. They also made Alpha Strike, which is just kind of an evolution of the original Battle Force, and to me it's got detail in the wrong places. That's the problem. The units are very simple, but all the rules around them are not as simple. So the game has kind of remained unchanged, which for a lot of people they would cite as a benefit. But for me, I mean, I don't think modern gamers are into that anymore. They want something a lot faster playing. They want something with more choice. Because in the original game, you got like three choices. You got three things you can control. Rather, you can control where you position your mech. You can kind of control your movement modifiers of targeting and attacker, and you can control your heat level. So those are kind of the three things you can control. The things you can't control, which are totally random, is do you win initiative? Do you hit? If you hit, where do you hit? There's 8 different locations on a mech, and that can be a big deal. And if you get through the armor on the mech, do you do a critical hit? And if you do a critical hit, do you what do you take out? And and if you take damage, do you fall over or do you not fall over? And can you get up or can you not get up? If you do fall over, there's so many random elements to it. And I think talking to people, they got this new Battletech game from Harebrained Schemes, where it's not new anymore, but Jordan did, they did do some changes, like this staggered or some such. But even then, I talked to people who just found it like too random, So, but I mean, I'm not saying that game is bad or anything. Just like I'm saying, the board game design. The benefit of the computer game is that all the rolling is taken care of by the computer. That's a huge benefit, especially with all those tables. But the board game itself, I mean, it needs to desperately be, revitalized. They made it look a lot prettier, for sure. The artwork's gone up, the production quality's gone up, but the rules, they're still 30 years old. But anyway, that's the end of this. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching.